I'm Nomsa Bokaba. I've spent over a decade as a counseling psychologist, walking with young people through their wounds, their chaos, and their search for identity. I counsel university students. I've seen brilliance. I've seen resilience. But I've also seen something that breaks my heart every week. The silent, gaping hole left by absent fathers. This is more than a social problem. It's a national emergency, one that has woven itself into the very soul of our society. The numbers don't lie. Let's start with the hard truth. More than 60% of South African children are growing up without their biological fathers at home. Only a third live with both parents. The rest are either raised by single mothers, grandmothers, or, tragically, by no consistent caregiver at all. And many of these fathers are not dead. They are simply absent by choice, disengaged, emotionally disconnected. The psychological damage is real. In my work, I don't just deal with statistics. I deal with souls. Young men and women carrying father wounds that are invisible but devastating. 1. A moral collapse. When there's no father to model accountability or speak truth into a child's life, that child often grows up morally unanchored. Right and wrong become blurred. Hustling replaces honesty. Pleasure replaces purpose. 2. Emotional damage. In boys, I meet boys who have no idea how to express their emotions. They swing between explosive anger and numbing withdrawal. Some overcompensate with toxic masculinity, others drift into silence and shame. All are looking for a mirror of manhood, and finding none. 3. Vulnerability in girls. Many young women I counsel have deep abandonment wounds. They crave love but don't trust it. Their self-worth is fragile, and they often fall into toxic relationships, seeking fatherly validation in the arms of men who mirror their absentee dads. 4. Fear of responsibility. A generation is emerging that fears adulthood. Many young men view responsibility as suffocating, unfamiliar, or simply optional. They weren't trained to carry weight, so they avoid it altogether. What must we do? A psychological path forward. This crisis won't be fixed by government slogans or glossy campaigns. It requires a moral awakening. As a psychologist and a mother, I believe we must do the following. 1. Rebuild the image of fatherhood. We must start speaking about fatherhood as sacred. Let's elevate it again, on radio, in churches, and classrooms. Let's tell our sons that real manhood isn't sexual conquest or material success. It's presence, guidance, and responsibility. 2. Create healing spaces for men. Many men are broken children in grown-up bodies. They need safe spaces to grieve their own fatherlessness and learn new patterns. Group therapy, men's circles, and faith-based counseling must be made accessible in every township and town. 3. Launch mentorship programs. If a biological father is absent, the community must step in, one man, one boy. Every school, church, and local NGO should facilitate mentorship between healthy men and fatherless boys. It works. I've seen it. 4. Hold men accountable with compassion. We need stronger enforcement of paternal responsibility, yes, but we also need restorative approaches. Let's bring absentee fathers into counseling instead of just courts. Healing must be part of justice. 5. Normalize therapy in Black communities. We've got to kill the stigma. Therapy is not weakness, it's wisdom. Emotional literacy should be taught in schools. Parents, teachers, and caregivers should be equipped to spot trauma and intervene early. The final word. Our homes are our hope. I've sat with too many young people who are angry, lost, or numb. And when we go deep, beneath the behavior, beneath the trauma, it almost always leads back to a missing father. We cannot build a strong South Africa on broken homes. We cannot preach responsibility to the youth while excusing grown men from their sacred role. And we cannot keep pretending that this is someone else's problem. As a psychologist, I offer therapy, but as a mother and a daughter of this land, I offer a plea. Let us restore fatherhood. Let us rebuild the family. Because until we do, the nation will keep bleeding. Behind every statistic is a silent cry. A child growing up without a father. A generation shaped by absence. I've traced the roots, spoken to the broken, and pieced together a guide for those still finding their way. Let's go to the studio, where the full report, A Guide to the Fatherless, speaks with truth and urgency.
Born in the fire, raised in the smoke. There is a generation in South Africa. Silent, bruised, invisible. They were born in pain. Not metaphor. Not exaggeration. Real pain. No lullabies. No protection. No father's hand on the shoulder saying, "I'm here." To lack a father in your life is perhaps the coldest thing in this world. You becomes bottomless pain. You are raised by pain itself. By grandmothers with tired eyes, broken backs, rugged clothes. It is now culture for their mothers to hand their children to grannies to go dancing in nightclubs, chasing men, laughing with bottles in hand while their children starved on pap and boiled water. These children grew up in tin shacks where rats ate more than they did. They limped to school with torn shoes and empty stomachs. And still, they carried hope like it was oxygen. They didn't ask for much. Just a little kindness. A little order. But what did this country give them? A government that steals. A system that lies. Churches that beg for offerings while ignoring the orphans. Fathers who vanish like smoke after sex. Mothers who curse their own wombs. Teachers too tired to care. So don't talk to them about freedom. They never saw it. Don't show them flags. Don't give them slogans. They live in houses with bullet holes. They know how it feels to walk past a body in the street. To be touched wrongly by a stepfather. To watch their best friend overdose. To cry themselves to sleep and get up anyway, because life doesn't wait. These are the real citizens of South Africa. The ones who survive without praise. They wash dishes, guard gates, sell sweets, fix tires, work night shifts. No one writes their names on walls. No one sings their songs on stage. But they are the backbone, and they are tired. Not lazy, not entitled, tired. And yet they are still standing. To you, child of fire, I say this. You are not your wounds. You are not your mother's rejection. You are not your father's absence. You are stronger than the world that tried to break you. You were not born to be pitted. You were born to rebuild this broken country from below. Stone by stone, bread by bread, truth by truth. So rise. Even if you limp, rise. Even if you cry, rise. Even if no one sees you, God does. You are not forgotten. You are the future's fierce whisper, waiting to become a roar. Rise above the government that hates you. Rise about the pain that raised you. The grandmother has shown you the way. Take that love and get warmth and peace as well as success. Chapter 1. Where was he? Facing the absence, naming the pain. He wasn't there. Not at the hospital when you were born. Not at the school play. Not on the couch when you came home crying. Not when you were hungry. Not when your mother collapsed. Not when the lights were off and the streets felt like a war zone. He wasn't there when you needed someone to say, "You are mine. I will protect you. I will teach you how to live." Instead, you heard excuses. Maybe you heard silence. Maybe you heard lies. He tried. He was not ready. He had his own problems. He wasn't a bad man, just confused. But the truth, he left. He left you. And even if he stayed in the house, if he was physically present but emotionally gone, he still left. Left you to the chaos. Left you to figure out what being human means without a blueprint. This chapter is not about blaming. It is about naming. Naming the wound so it no longer controls you from the shadows. Because pretending it didn't matter, that you didn't care, that you never needed him, is the biggest lie fatherless children tell themselves. It mattered. The little you needed, one glance of approval, one strong voice to tell you, "You are enough," wasn't there. So you learned to toughen up, to harden, to pretend it didn't matter, to laugh it off, to say, "I'm fine." But fine is not healing. Some of you searched for him in men, Older men, broken men, dangerous men. Some of you hated your mothers for choosing him. Some of you hated yourselves. Let me say this clearly. You were not the reason he left. His absence was not a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of his failure, his confusion, his cowardice, his addiction, his brokenness. The pain may stay, but the lie must go. You are not unlovable. You are not rejected. You are not cursed. You were simply forced to start life without a compass. And now you build your own. Not out of bitterness, but out of truth. You write your own definition of strength. You become what he wasn't. You become present in your own life, in others' lives. You don't need to wait for an apology. You don't need his blessing. You have already survived the worst part, being forgotten. Now it's time to remember yourself. Perfect. I'll continue with Chapter 2 next. Chapter 2. Your story is not your shame. You are not what they did to you. They might laugh at you. They might mock your family. They might whisper, "He doesn't have a father," as if it's a curse. And for too long, you believed them. You wore your pain like a dirty secret. You tucked it under your school uniform. You smiled when your friends talked about their fathers, even when it burned inside. You answered their questions with jokes. You became the clown, the achiever, the fighter, anything to cover the fact that your heart was missing something important. But let this truth break the silence. What happened to you is not who you are. You are not your father's absence. You are not the way your mother pushed you aside to chase men and parties. You are not the hungry nights. You are not the loneliness. You are not the secondhand insults passed around by relatives who never raised you. You are more than your trauma. You are more than what people say about you. You are more than the look of pity in the eyes of teachers, neighbors, and cousins. You are here, still standing, still breathing, still trying. That is not shame. That is strength. They didn't see the nights you cried into the pillow. They didn't feel the fear of walking home through danger zones. They didn't hear your silent prayers to a God you weren't sure was listening. But you heard them, and you made it through. That makes you brave. That makes you worthy. Let them talk. Let the world misunderstand. You have nothing to prove, except to yourself. Because you've already overcome more than some people face in a lifetime. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real. And the real story, the one buried deep, is this. You are not ashamed. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not alone. You are in the process of becoming whole, becoming powerful, becoming free. Chapter 9. Forgive but don't lie. Letting go without letting them off the hook. Forgiveness is hard, especially when no apology ever came. No letter, no explanation, just absence, just silence. People love to say, just forgive and move on. But they don't know your story. They don't know the nights you went to bed angry at a man you never knew. They don't know how it feels when your birthday comes and there's no call, no gift, no memory to hold on to. They don't know how deeply absence can scream. So let's make something clear. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is not pretending. It is not excusing. You can forgive and still name the wound. You can forgive and still say, "He failed me." You can forgive and still keep your distance. You can forgive and still protect your heart. Because forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. If you hold on to the hate, if you hold on to the bitterness, if you replay the betrayal like a movie every night, you give them power again. You were already abandoned. Don't abandon yourself by staying stuck. But let me be honest. Don't lie. Don't fake healing for likes. Don't quote Bible verses you haven't processed. Don't say, "I've moved on," while secretly hoping they suffer. Be real with yourself. Say, "I was wounded. I was left. It changed me. But I choose to rise without becoming cold." That's true forgiveness. Not a soft excuse, but a hard decision. To live, to love, to lead. To stop bleeding over what you'll never understand. If he ever comes back, fine. If he never does, also fine. Because the real victory isn't hearing, "I'm sorry." The real victory is being whole even when the apology never came. Chapter 10. You are not cursed. Breaking the lies that haunt the bloodline. They'll look at your life and shake their heads. She's just like her mother. He'll end up like his father. They whisper your future like it's already been written in stone. And after a while, you start to believe them. That maybe you were born wrong. That maybe failure is your inheritance. That maybe this pain is your portion. But let me break that spell right now. You are not cursed. You are not doomed to repeat what broke you. You are not bound by the choices of people who came before you. You are not the sin of your father. You are not the regret of your mother. Yes, bloodline matters. Yes, trauma travels. Yes, pain is often passed down like furniture no one wants. But you have the power to break the chain. Because curses are not just rituals in the dark, they are patterns, unspoken rules, generational silence, habits soaked in shame. You've seen it. Men who father children, then vanish. Women who raise children in bitterness. Families where love is a rumor, but pain is tradition. But you're not them. You're awake now. You see the pattern. You feel the ache of it. And because you feel it, you can stop it. You can choose to speak instead of silence, to build instead of break, to love with discipline, to stay when it's hard, to rise when it feels pointless. The curse breaks not in one dramatic moment, but in small, sacred decisions. Every time you say, "No, I won't pass this pain down." Every time you walk away from destruction. Every time you tell your child, "I love you, and I'm not going anywhere." That's power. That's healing. That's what your bloodline has been waiting for. You are not cursed. You are called to rebuild, to rewrite, to resurrect a legacy worth passing on. And it starts with you. Chapter 7. Learning manhood without a model. Becoming the man you never met. He wasn't there to show you how. No man to tie your tie. No one to say, "This is how a man treats a woman." No one to show you strength without violence. To teach you that manhood is not shouting louder, sleeping around, or pretending not to cry. So you guessed. You copied what you saw in the streets, in music videos, in your mother's boyfriends, in movies full of guns and revenge. You learned to wear a hard face, to act unshaken, to fight if disrespected, to flirt to feel wanted, to get angry instead of vulnerable. But now that you're older, you realize something. That's not manhood. That's pain, wearing a mask. You were not born to guess your way into manhood. You were born to build it. Here's what true manhood looks like, especially for the fatherless. 1. Discipline before bravado. Wake up early. Finish what you start. Control your emotions. Strength is not about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. 2. Respect for women, even if you were hurt by one. Your mother may have failed you. She may have chosen men over you. But don't let that teach you to see women as toys or enemies. A real man protects, uplifts, and listens. 3. Silence is not weakness, and violence is not strength. Learn to pause. Chapter 8. Father figures who came anyway. He wasn't your father, but he showed up. You may not even remember his name, but you remember the moment. That one teacher who stayed after class. That coach who shouted at you to do better. Not because he hated you, but because he believed in you. That uncle, neighbor, pastor, or old man from the block who said, "You can do more. You are more." He wasn't your father, but in that moment, he became something close. Some people call them mentors. Some call them role models. But to the fatherless, they are lifelines. They don't have to raise you. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to show up consistently, honestly, humanly. Sometimes the men who help you aren't loud about it. They don't say, "I love you, son." They just teach you how to fix a tire, how to shake a hand, how to take responsibility. They won't post it online. They won't expect praise. But they leave fingerprints on your life. Sometimes they're not even men. Sometimes it's a strong, masculine woman who teaches you to stand. Sometimes it's a grandfather who never says much, but makes sure your school shoes are clean. Father figures don't replace the pain, but they help reshape the story. So if someone stepped in, even once, to see you, hear you, correct you, feed you, believe in you, honor that. Remember that. Pass it forward. And if no one ever came, become that person for someone else. You know how it feels to walk through life unsure. You know the ache of invisibility. Chapter 11. Raise your children differently. Be the parent you were praying for. You know what it feels like to grow up wondering where your father was. To sit at school while others were picked up by men who called them my boy or my girl. To get dressed alone for special days, hoping someone would show up, only to be disappointed again. You know the pain. So now that the future is in your hands, whether you're already a parent or just dreaming of becoming one, raise your children differently. Let the cycle stop here. You don't need to be rich. You don't need a perfect house. You just need to show up. Your presence will heal more than your presence. Here's how to raise them differently. 1. Choose them every day. Don't disappear when things get hard. Don't make excuses. Choose to be there, even when you feel unprepared. 2. Speak life into them. Tell them they matter. Tell them they are smart, loved, protected. Let your voice undo the silence you once sat in. 3. Apologize when you mess up. You're not aiming to be perfect. You're aiming to be honest. Saying I'm sorry teaches humility, not weakness. 4. Give discipline with love. Not the kind that breaks their spirit, but the kind that builds character. Boundaries are safety, and children thrive in safety. 5. Let them see you struggle, but not quit. Let your children see a parent who fights, who works, who prays, who admits pain, but never bows to it. You don't need to raise perfect children. Raise whole ones. Raise loved ones. Raise children who don't need to heal from their childhood the way you did. And if you're still healing, let that healing be part of your parenting. Tell them the truth, age-appropriate, yes, but tell it. Tell them, I grew up without a father, but I will not pass that pain to you. You will know love. You will know protection. You will know me. That is how you win. Not with revenge. Not with money. With presence. And maybe, just maybe, your child will grow up and say, my father, my mother, they gave me everything they never had. And that is legacy. Chapter 12. Faith, Grit, and Future. Your father didn't shape you. Your fight did. You made it to the end of this guide. But really, you've only reached the beginning of something greater. Your life on your terms. Yes, you were born without a father. But look at what you became. Not because someone held your hand, but because you never let go of yourself. This country may not see you. Your family may not understand you. The world may still call you broken. But from here on out, you walk with different eyes. Eyes that have seen fire and chose not to burn. Feet that have walked through ruins and still move forward. A soul that has known rejection, but still dares to love, build, and rise. Faith. Believe in something higher than your pain. Whether it's God, purpose, destiny, or justice, believe that your life has meaning. Because you were not born to suffer. You were born to overcome. Grit. Never confuse softness with weakness. Cry when you must. Rest when you must. But never quit. You've come too far to die as a victim. Future. You are not the past. You are not the absence. You are not what they failed to give you. You are the answer. To your bloodline. To your community. To your children, born or unborn. To the little boy or girl inside you who still wonders, was I ever enough? Yes. You were. You are. You always will be. This guide is not your finish line. It is your fire starter. Take it. Read it again when the nights get hard. Share it with someone still walking in silence. And most of all, live, loudly, fully, freely. Your father may not have shown up, but you did. And that's more than enough. Part 2, the fight. Because survival is not enough. Now you must rise. Chapter 5, Building Yourself from Broken Pieces. How to become whole when life gave you fragments. You were not given a head start. No safety net. No father. No stable home. Just broken pieces. A little courage here. A little pain there. A shattered dream. A half-healed wound. A sharp memory of being told, you're nothing. But here you are. Still breathing. Still dreaming. Still showing up in a world that never made room for you. Now it's time to build. Not a mask. Not a fake version of yourself to impress others. But the real you. The one rising from wreckage like a phoenix. You don't need perfect tools. Start with what you have. That anger? Use it as fuel. That loneliness? Use it to deepen your empathy. That street wisdom? Use it to read the world and move smart. That broken heart? Use it to feel what others ignore. You are not disqualified. No degree. Still valid. No rich connections. Still powerful. No perfect English. Still brilliant. You are not behind. You're just running a different race. Here's what building yourself looks like. 1. Claim your story. Tell the truth of where you come from, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Don't sanitize it. Your truth is your torch. 2. Set boundaries. Just because you were abandoned doesn't mean everyone gets access to you now. Not all attention is love. 3. Create something. Anything. A poem. A song. A small business. A clean room. A new version of your name in the mirror. 4. Cut lies out like cancer. Lies like I'm not enough. Lies like I'll always be poor. Lies like nobody cares. Cut them out. 5. Show up for yourself daily. Wake up and fight for your mind. Speak kindly to yourself. Don't wait for someone to come fix you. they're not coming. Because here's the secret no one tells fatherless children. You don't need saving. You need building. And the builder is already inside you. Every time you chose to walk away from destruction. Every time you studied when no one clapped for you. Every time you held back tears and kept going. That was you. You are the builder. You are the architect. You are the foundation. Now raise yourself. Not in bitterness. Not in revenge. But in honor of the child who survived without comfort. You were not given much. Chapter 6. Becoming a woman when no man protected you. Softness is not weakness. Strength is not silence. No father to say, "You're beautiful." No man to chase the monsters away. No hand to hold yours and say, "You are worth protecting." Just a girl, growing into a woman, with questions no one would answer, pain no one wanted to see. Some of you were touched wrongly by men who should have protected you. Some of you were taught that your body is a tool, or a weapon, or a shame to be hidden. You were told to stay quiet, to be polite, to endure, to not make noise about the pain men caused. And yet, here you are, a woman becoming. Not perfect, not healed, but still becoming. Let's say it clearly. You were never supposed to raise yourself. But since you had to, let's raise you well from here on. If no man ever protected you, protect yourself now, not with fear, but with fire. Speak boldly. Set hard boundaries. Say no without apology. Say yes to healing. If you were never called beautiful, call yourself beautiful now. Not just your skin, but your spirit, your strength, your sensitivity, your laughter after pain. You don't need to be cold to be strong. You don't need to become a man to survive. You don't need to sleep with men to be seen. You are enough. Enough without makeup. Enough without male validation. Enough without playing small so others don't feel threatened. You don't owe anyone your body, your silence, or your loyalty if they didn't earn it. You don't need to compete with other women. We are not enemies. We are warriors in different skins. And if you ever have a daughter, or a little girl looks at you and sees safety, let her rest in your arms and know this. The chain has broken. The pain ends with you.